that is essentially the leaves of your. That essentially is the leaves, but it's also at the moment it's also got all the energy, the carbohydrate of the plant that's going to grow. What will happen is that, can you see this thing called a radicle? That's going to come out first, and you can see already that the seed coat is starting to unpeel, and that's where the radicle is going to actually pop out, and the radicle becomes essentially the roots. Because if you think about it logically, if this plant doesn't get itself rooted first in the soil, what's one of the things that a plant needs to be able to grow?
Water.
Water. So it's and essentially nutrients as well. So if it can get itself tapped into the water and the nutrients as quickly as possible, and also it's anchoring itself, it's fixing itself hard, isn't it? Which means that when it does start to push up that stem, which we know here is called this epicotyl. I mean, don't worry about these terms, and the cotyledon stalk it talks about as well. So what's happening is basically it's hooking itself in, and at the same time it's trying to grow up to the sky with its stalk. So if we cut this open, and it should be nice and soft because this has been usually you soak them for about 24 hours before you sow them. And what that does is because imagine if you put these straight into a pot and water them, they'll draw the moisture up, and then there's a chance they might dry out again. Now, unfortunately, you can't really see a lot, but if you were to start really probing, you can't see a lot because of the nature of it's the colour of the bean that doesn't help. The broad beans are a lot better. I just didn't have any. But all that flesh there, that's all the carbohydrates, though. That's essentially going to grow up into
tasty beans.
So what we could do is if we sow these next week, we could on Wednesday we could cut into one, and we'll be able to see. Well, probably actually be up by then. It'll take about 6 to 7 days, and they'll grow. But we'll put them in the propagator. We could actually leave one or two outside the propagator as well, and then hopefully they'll be just a little bit slower to grow.